Liquid Lunch Live is brought to you by Question Tequila.
Quarter past the top of the hour in New York. It's just past noon on Wall Street, and I usually start the show by saying it's high noon. And I'm high as a kite today because we have some unbelievable guests joining us. In this segment, we always talk about the purple people right here on Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. The one thing we do every day is we show our bipartisanship by bringing on someone from the left and someone from the right and letting them talk through some ideas, have a reasoned discussion, and then we have a little chicken cutlet and fresh mozzarella, we shake hands, and we part friends. Joining me again on my left and her on the left today is Deirdre Scaramucci, and on the right is Erin Elmore. And guys, oh, that's not Erin Elmore, that's Martha Bonetta. I'm sorry.
She can be Erin
Frank
Elmore.
is just off camera, but he keeps me right on track. Guys, thank you for joining us today on Liquid Lunch. It's the first time I think we've had two heavy-duty people in this segment, and I'm usually not in the middle, so I'm throwing out a topic, and then you guys hash it out. The question is this. All these states, some states are banning abortions, other states are trying to figure out ways to let abortions be done post-birth. It's craziness out there. I'm no one to weigh in on it, but as a purple person who likes some reds and some blues, I think the government should stay out of women's wombs. That's one of the things I'm saying. But let's start with you, Martha. Should states be boycotted because their politicians are legislating abortion? Like they're boycotting whole states?
Well, talk about who's boycotting the states. We have Hollywood. Some Hollywood folks have said that they're going to boycott certain states, right? Who else is boycotting the states?
That would be it, I think.
That's all that I'm aware of.
There's some groups out there saying let's cut down on tourism to these states, and Alyssa Milano we talked about last week. Some of these celebrities, they're irrelevant. They're irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have tons of celebrities on your show. Some of them are so liberal. I feel like they just don't even have any reasoning left.
Well, that's
At least
the thing.
you're reasonable.
That's the thing. So when people label me lefty, I don't love it because I'm more like, I say I'm normal. I'm just middle of the road. So based on my beliefs personally, which I don't try to push on anybody else, I form a decision on a topic. So like this, for instance, okay, the New York stuff where like late-term abortion, like basically the child is a living, functioning, breathing human being, and then you can have an abort. I'm totally against that. But then there's a state like Alabama where, that's like you're raped by your brother, or there's incest, or there's something traumatic. I don't necessarily think that's something that somebody necessarily needs to keep or go through. So there has to be something in between. So I'm not like swinging all the way to the left. I'm trying to find like a common sense middle ground that everybody can agree on. And I also think the people making the decisions, like these older men that have never had these experiences, it's very hard for them to know how that might feel. So it's like, let's get more people involved. Let's think of something that makes more sense, not left, not right, but maybe
How about
right
just
or
right
wrong.
with a small R? Like, let's do the right thing.
The right thing, like do the right thing, like Spike Lee.
But,
Martha,
yeah.
wait, let me just ask you this. With so much this, this, that, before, banning abortions and post-abortions, in New York State, they passed a law where if the child is born, then the mother just says that she's mentally incapacitated, or she doesn't feel well, or something. She doesn't think she can raise it. She might kill it. They allow like almost post-birth abortion. At what point, when we have a Democratic Congress led by Nancy Pelosi and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, giving illegal immigrants the right to vote in municipal elections, at what point? I'm a parent. You're a parent, right? At what point does that fetus have some rights? Like, when is it a human? That's when we really have to figure out, I think.
Right.
Well,
There's so many factors,
a couple
though.
of things. I'm from Virginia. So I'm from Virginia, where we have a governor that has advocated for infanticide.
That's right.
And this is, and our governor is a child surgeon. He's an infant surgeon, and he advocates for infanticide, and that is the murder of innocent babies after they're born. As you said, I'm a mother, you're a father. It's horrific to think that we have, governors of states like Virginia advocating for that. So I am pro-life, and I believe that abortion is murder, and that
At any time.
At any
You
time.
think at any time,
Yes, I do.
from conception,
Yeah.
it's a human.
I do. You know, I'm a Christian. My
you do.
faith. My faith.
I
tells me
understand
that,
where she's
and-
coming from,
yeah.
especially being a mom. You know, this probably isn't that controversial because I'm agreeing with her.
No,
but
that's
I'm
good.
just
No, but
telling
that's
you,
the idea. We can have conversations that people can listen to.
I agree. It's from my heart as a mom. I think when I think about anything like that, if I ended my my two boys' life before they were born, that to me is a total tragedy. But I understand there are circumstances where sometimes, whether it be a health issue for the mom or the baby, that there are extreme circumstances where sometimes something needs to happen. And I know a lot of it is based on religious beliefs, but that's just my personal opinion. I would never push that on somebody else. If they feel like they are equipped to take care of a child who's not well, I totally support that.
We talked about Alyssa Milano last week. She's calling for women to go on a sex strike until
Right.
these things, right? And I'm sitting there saying, like, how hypocritical could you be? You're fighting for women to have the right to do what they want with their body, but then you're telling them to cause a strike by not using their body in some way that they're almost going against.
Well, I think a lot of
themselves.
people are grasping for straws here, like their relevancy, whatever it is, trying to
Yeah.
stay in the
Like Alyssa
like-
Milano,
right.
which hasn't been relative
ridiculous-
since
I mean,
she was on
at some
Sopranos.
point, it's like,
Yeah.
come on. So I think some people are just trying to get their name out there and be controversial,
Milano.
like Alyssa Milano.
She hasn't been relevant since The Sopranos. I
No,
don't think.
she wasn't on The Sopranos. She
wasn't?
was. This is going back to the '80s with Who's the Boss.
Oh, that's she's
Yeah.
definitely not
So
relevant.
I don't.
Okay, I
she's
had that
done,
wrong.
or
That
she
was,
did another show. I
that
think
was
Charmed
Jamie
or
Lynn
something. She
Sigler
did
or
Jamie
something.
Lynn
Yeah,
Sigler.
yeah,
They
I
look
got
like.
them confused.
I think Alyssa Milano was on Charmed in the '90s, but. Either which way, I'm not sure what her motivation is, but I think at some point it's like, okay, enough. We know your opinion. You've said it all. We get it. And this is something that needs to be discussed, I don't know, amongst other people, not people from Hollywood that are just sitting behind their Twitter
Exactly,
feed.
and yeah, and getting back to your question about Hollywood, whether these Hollywood stars boycott these states, it's certainly not going to affect the economy of the states that have passed these laws.
That's
it's
right.
going to have no impact.
That's
it's
right.
completely irrelevant.
Well, I mean, sometimes when they pull big movies out of it, it does impact the economy. But, you know, and that's the funny part of it is like they're actually biting, what's the term, cutting off your nose to spite your face? Because you're hurting the people that work and
Like
you're,
the hand that feeds you?
yeah.
Did
So-
you try the
No, but
chicken parm with fresh mozzarella and roasted peppers from
No, because I
Freddy's
can't
Gourmet?
imagine
Oh
eating.
my
But
God,
of course, and
you
of course,
should.
today is supposed to be day one of my diet. Like I always say, tomorrow my diet starts tomorrow. So
Well, when we're done,
I'll let you eat
You're
it.
gonna have some chicken cutlet
Okay.
and a little question tequila.
Well,
to-
that I'll
to
take.
wash
I'll
it
drink
down.
my calories.
But
Notice how he has the tequila in between us.
I
feel like
know.
I need to make a path.
I know.
A path. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Much better.
all right, is that better for you?
Yes.
Let me move this
Is that
out
like
of the
if we
way.
needed
always
to call
have
a truce or
Alfonso
something?
Vodka over
Yes.
here. I want to, as always, welcome in all of our friends at all 31 branches of Bayonne Community Bank who are tuned in today. Thank you for being there. And also, the King of Cash, my friend Carmine, and all his boys at Standard Financing are tuned in today. And we're going to have Carmine on in the next week or so. He's going to come down here. He's going to show you, if you have a business, how you can get your hands on cash in 24 hours legally and fairly. Ladies, fair to me is Donald Trump firing shots across the bow of Joe Biden from Japan and talking about the 94 crime bill that put, you know, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of minorities in jail for minor crimes. Is Trump really attacking Joe from Japan? Is that good?
See, I am like totally against that because I think we look like fools in front of everybody else. But at the same time, I'm totally against everyone else on this side of the land or aisle, whatever, attacking him while he's overseas. Like there has to be some sort of agreement where we have to stand united in front of people that are not our own citizens. We look childish and I think we look weak. And I think that's not a great example to be setting for the world because we're supposed to be the leader of the free world. So that's my opinion. I think we should keep our dirty laundry inside these,
like when-
50. You should keep it in our own.
It's like
our
when you
own
have
turf.
company over, you get the kids and you say, I don't care what you do,
Yeah,
just
right.
don't embarrass us
Right,
in front
exactly.
of the company.
Exactly.
And the kids usually listen. but
Sometimes,
I don't
not
think
really,
Trump
not
wants
mine.
to listen.
Well,
What do you think?
but you know,
Final thought on
it's
this one.
Trump's candor like that the American people elected him to be exactly the way he is. No verbal filter, not politically correct, not business as usual in politics. And that's what the American people crave. They want somebody who's not a career politician, who's going to say everything correctly and in a perfect, manicured, package. They want somebody that's going to be free and just speak to the American people, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Which I totally understand, by the way. I'm married to Anthony Scaramucci, who has absolutely no filter, so I get that. I actually find it to be appealing in some ways, but I just think there are some venues where I wish he would just tailor it back a tiny bit, not too
She
much.
is married to Anthony Scaramucci, but he's no longer allowed on the show. She's the official Scaramucci
I'm the official
of Liquid
Mooch,
Lunch.
the Mrs.
We're coming
Mooch.
back right after this. Tune into Mooch and the Mrs. podcast. It's great. Back after this.